What's up, guys? We're gonna Real Beats. Today I'm gonna be showing you guys how to steal the vibe from any genre. If you guys haven't subbed already or turned post on the genre, you should do so because it does help it a lot. So let's hop right into it. So I'm gonna be doing a medieval style or stealing from that style. I can't show you the song in the video, obviously, so I'm gonna leave a link if you want to just see kind of what I'm trying to take from. Okay, so what we're gonna do next is I'm gonna just hop into a part where I'm gonna explain the three characteristics or three elements that you need to actually steal from a genre. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Now, the first element I want to go over is pretty much just sound selection. This is the most important skill or thing you need to learn if you want to make beats or music, period. I would say this is about 80% of it. You can know chords and all this stuff, but sound selection is probably the most important. So with this, when you're stealing a vibe, you need to pay attention to the actual sounds you're using, right? If someone is using a flute, for example, I have a flute here, you know, this says Irish flute, but there are other flutes, right? You have the low whistle, and then we can go even over here, and then we'll have all these different types of woodwinds, okay, to choose from. They all sound different. So you need to pay attention to that, right? If you're trying to make like some lo-fi stuff, you want to make sure you choose the right piano, right? You don't want to choose an organ. You can, right? But for the genre, you probably want to choose like some Rhodes or piano, something like that. All right, so that would be sound selection. And then let's hop into the second one. All right, so the second one would be rhythm and grid. So the grid, we can start with the grid first because it's easier. So you want to make sure you're choosing the right grid. And this kind of ties into how it's played too. So for this flute and for what I'm going for medieval, it would be in the thirds grid, right? Something like this. Okay. Now you can also use this for guitars and stuff, but usually people stick to something like this, right? And then the rhythm, right? So how it is actually being played, like the pattern. So that would be, is it active like this? Is it very active? Okay. Or is it just being played one note at a time? Usually people do this with flutes and violins, just kind of play something like this, right? Or is it just super active? And this changes depending on genre. Okay, so you can have a piano that just chords in one genre, right? In another, you can have a piano that's going crazy. Okay, so you have to pay attention to those things and how active it is. All right, so that's pretty simple. Let's move on to the last one, which is characteristics. Okay, so the third one, like I said, is characteristics or traits. Now this is similar to rhythm in a way, but it's more detailed. So what I mean by this, it'll be like the range of the instrument, right? So like, you know, is it being played low or is it being played high, right? The velocity, right? Is there like changes in the velocity? Okay, stuff like that. Is there vibrato? Like I said, it's kind of like rhythm, but is there vibrato, right? Is it being flammed like this, right? So you want to pay attention to those things because they'll make a huge difference in getting the vibe right for the genre you're going for, right? And also the length. So if we have something like this, right, in certain genres, the instrument might just be played like this, like plucked, right? In other ones, you might have it just kind of bleeding on one another or overlapping. So you want to pay attention to stuff like that. So that's pretty much it. Those are the 3 tips. And now what I'm gonna do is just kind of mimic the genre I'm going for in the next part. Okay, so in the description, there's a song I linked to like the vibe I'm trying to take from. So you can kind of listen to that first if you want to know what I'm going for, because it's going to sound a little weird. It's not going to be very like trappy or whatever. So I'm going to take those things I talked about earlier and kind of apply them to this. I'm gonna just do the first half just to save time. So I'm gonna just start like somewhere right here. Okay. So first thing, we need this grid. So I already know the thirds grid is perfect for this stuff. And then if I can remember, I believe the next notes, the first note will be longer than the next notes will be like kind of bouncing around. So you can just use this A sharp minor. We can go down here and then let's take this note, move it up, something like that. And then we can just kind of trickle down. Okay, that sounds similar to what I was going for. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the second part just to kind of do a full thing. All right, so I'm gonna probably speed up that. Okay, so here we go. This is the pattern, and it's just kind of mimicking that. I guess it's not necessarily medieval, but that's what it says on the video. So all right, something like that. So that is it for this. And what we're gonna do is kind of take this, right, and every other element from that song I linked and make like a beat with it. All right, so let's go ahead and get to making that. All right, so now what we need to do is use the other instruments. So same thing, you just want to listen to them and just see how they are played, and then just kind of match everything up, the sound selection, the rhythm, everything like that. All right, so this is what I have. Oh wait, okay, so we can just start this beat since it's right here, and let me zoom in. And we're in the thirds grid, so I think thirds grid is probably perfect for this anyway. So what we can do is just kind of build out this little chord and pull this up an octave, and then we could just kind of keep going along. Let's take this B and maybe, actually that might be a good spot. And let's copy this over, and I'm gonna just slightly change this up. Okay, so those are the strings. Let's move on to, I guess we could do the flute now since it's the first one. All right, so now we got the flute, and now we can kind of stretch and pull how we want since we understand how this is supposed to be played. So we can do something like this. And then let's put this in between. I'm holding Alt to put it where I want. I should probably zoom in. And let's use this F in the middle. Let's take this C, pull it down. We could just be lazy, do something like this. And then change the length of the notes. Let's go over here. And let's use that F sharp. And then we just trickle it down. It doesn't need to be too complicated. And I'm gonna take one of these notes. And then 1, 2, I believe that's right. All right, that's good enough. All right, so that is the flute, and I'm gonna go ahead and just make a second one, just to save time. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we can move on. All right, so I'm gonna get 2 out the way. I'm gonna just do the horns, just kind of act like a bass in this texture. This is the texture I have. It's from the same plugin. And I'm gonna just put the root. Just do something like that. Just some airy, and then we can use this horn. Okay, and then let's pull this down. Okay, and then we can use this little pipe. I thought this would be fun to add in, so let's just go ahead and do that next. All right, so next up we have this pipe, and I was thinking about not doing this, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it since I have it loaded up. So I'm gonna probably just play it somewhere here. And keep in mind, I've been doing the same tricks. You just gotta pay attention to how the instruments are played. Mimic this. Then I'm gonna put something maybe right here. And then let's end on this note. So all we gotta do is get to this note next. So let's start this E. See what that sounds like? Okay, sounds pretty good. All right, so there it is. Those are the instruments, and now what I'm gonna do is we're just gonna do the drums. All right, so I went ahead and added an RC20 to my flute just to give it character, and I feel like it wasn't standing out enough. So there we have that. So let's do this 808. This should be pretty simple. I'm gonna kind of fast forward through like the other half of everything. So we gotta end on our B. So we are in half grid, half beat. Okay, and then that should be enough bass to add our kick in there. Okay, I think that's good. So that's our low end, and let's move on to actually making the drums. Okay, so I'm gonna do the hi-hats, and I'm gonna fast forward through everything else because this is just like perks and stuff, all right? So we can zoom in. Okay, I think that's good for the hi-hats. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and fast forward through the rest of the drums. Okay, so here's everything else, nothing crazy. Of course it needs a little bit of mixing, but here's it with all the instruments. Okay, now realistically, if I was actually using this beat for something, I would probably play the flute as an accent throughout the beat, and take that off, and I would probably take out this pipe because I don't think it's needed. So I would probably just play it like this as a beat though. So you have to make that decision when you're making your own beats on what instruments you want to keep in or out. Right, a lot easier to rap on, a lot smoother and clearer. So yeah, that's it for this video. Remember those 3 tips: sound selection, rhythm, grid, and characteristics or traits. And then you'll be fine. You can kind of steal from any genre you want, make any genre you want. So that's it for this video. Hopefully it was helpful. Make sure you guys like and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.